my goal is to try to get people who can't understand where we're coming from, where you see what's going on in the world right now.
I panicked a little bit.
Hey man, it brings back the old days. But
I was always ready to go.
Anytime you show up to the party with this, it better be drinkable.
Oh, there's that cinnamon.
Okay.
Yo, what up?
How's it going, everyone?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Men of Means podcast.
Oh, yeah.
With that said, you got everybody here again, full house, if you will. You know who I am. I'm the one and only.
How many times is it now?
You know what? God
4?
damn it, bro. I was in my introduction.
Oh, did I cut you off?
No, it's cool. I didn't know where I was going with there going from there anyway, so that worked out.
It's trending.
Well,
Yeah.
That's what he wants.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, you're still trending, brother.
Okay,
well done.
good.
I'm happy you're here.
I'm happy too.
All right. Everyone's here. Anthony, 4 weeks. James, what are we in? Fucking 19.
Week
fucking
20.
the whole year of 2020. You know what I mean?
All the weeks we took off.
Yeah, fuck it, quarantine. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. Just fuck being I don't know. Just don't even worry about that part. You know, quarantine is very serious, guys.
Serious
Social distance, please. This table is obviously 24 feet distance. We're sitting very far away from each other. We don't fuck around.
We got the hand sanitizer on deck.
We do. We come prepared. We have sanitizer.
Advanced.
We have a booth right outside here where we walk in and it sprays you down, kills all the germs.
We got the whatever that doesn't get, the whiskey gets. So,
Yeah.
We just splash a little bit on our hands and then just kind of.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, man. So a lot's going on this week. How you guys sitting with everything? You got anything interesting this week going on? Where you guys at? I heard, Anthony, if I'm not mistaken, I heard you did a little round of golf this morning.
I did. I went out and I played a little back nine. It felt good.
The back nine.
Sounds sexual.
It does. Who were you with? You know what I mean?
That is none of your business.
That's personal.
It's a personal matter there. But I will say I got out there. I got to play a little bit. Got out of my element again, into my element actually. But it was a little bit of anxiety because I hadn't been around people like that. So getting on the cart, I wanted to wipe it down. Didn't have time, so I kind of just had to do
The
it.
tee times are very serious.
Yeah.
As I found out going with you guys one day, you got to be there on time, dude.
I feel like no matter how early you get there, whenever it's time, like from the driving range to like the cart, it's always like, oh, put your shit in the cart and let's go. You're never ready.
You know what's interesting, man? Because I feel like you kind of grilled me a little bit. I actually, for everybody out there, I played a little basketball yesterday. Very, very much only with people that I work with that I'm around anyway. And we all get tested every morning, so we all know we're fairly safe.
And with the current drought of sporting events, we actually had ESPN out there with you.
Oh
right?
yeah, man. No, this shit was live production.
Well,
Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp were there. You know what I mean? It was all legit.
I want to make a clarification.
Let me run this real quick. So I play today. I'm talking to Anthony a little bit. I'm texting him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, what did you do? Whatever." I was like, "Oh yeah, man, I was balling yesterday." First thing he says is, "Where at?" And I'm like, "At the park." And he's like, "You went to a park with other people?" He's like, "Hey, what were you doing?" And I'm like, "No, dude, nobody was there. It was just us. You know, we're at 4 courts. No one's on any of them. It's just me and 2 of my friends from work." Anthony's like, okay. Then I hear, now you're jumping on carts. You're doing all of these things.
The cart was solo.
Brother, who used the cart before you?
Nobody. It was
Yeah.
6 in the
Sure.
morning.
Yeah, you know what? I was leaving work at 5 the day before. I don't know where you were, but I'm sure this course was open yesterday.
They clean them.
Right? You hope so.
I hope so.
Right?
Don't get in my head. Don't get in my fucking
Yeah,
head.
let's stay out of his head because you know how he gets.
I know. I'm only saying, don't get in my head. I was worried about it, like, oh man, maybe he's right. Is this court dirty? You know what I mean?
Who touched the rim?
Yeah.
Last.
Well, I wasn't touching the rim. It didn't
Yeah.
matter. You know what I mean? I wasn't getting up there. I could touch the rim. I'm not going to lie to you. I did jump up and touch it. And I realized, man, you're getting old and out of shape because I used to be able to dunk it. And I can barely touch it now.
The knees couldn't take it.
Yeah, my knees are sore now, man. Wow.
How
Getting
tall,
old.
How tall are you, Ken?
6'9".
Oh, wow.
6'9", yep.
In his dream.
Yeah, no, I'm 6'3".
Yeah,
That's a lot taller than me. Yeah.
Oh, it's about a foot taller than you, brother.
Fuck you. I ain't 5'3", homie.
5'5"? What are you sitting at?
Listen, bro, I'm 5'7" and 3/4. Okay.
Oh, damn. NBA stature.
Shut up.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either.
I don't believe the 5'7".
I don't believe the 5'7". I think it's
bullshit.
like 5'6.5", and he rounded that way the hell up. But it's cool.
It's all right, man. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shift gears on you guys.
Yeah, it's probably about time.
Take the pressure off Anthony with his height, and we are gonna hit you guys with a little whiskey time, as always. And we're trying to get in the fucking pocket.
We are on our way to the pocket.
I'm in the pocket.
You're already in the pocket.
I'm already almost there.
Oh, well, that is not good.
I came ready.
You know what I mean? I've done that before. Doesn't end well. You know what I mean? Don't do that.
So what do we got today?
All right, man. So today we got a 15-year aged Dewar's blended Scotch whiskey, the Monarch, a true Scotch, if you would. I want to give a big shout out to my boy Carlos, who sponsored this bottle. He actually hit me up, said, "Hey man, I'd love to bring a bottle for you guys." He actually brought the bottle, took all the work out of it. So again, Carlos, huge shout out to you, man.
Shout out to Carlos.
Huge shout out.
Yeah. Also another gentleman that upsets me with his fucking super cool beard, and I'm like, fuck you, man. I can't get one, and it's upsetting. But a very nice guy, man, and I appreciate him. Appreciate the support and the love, man. And just for anybody else out there, if you guys want to, you guys want us to sample anything, give you our review. Hit us up on Instagram. There's a link to email there. There you can just leave a comment, whatever you want to do, however you want to go about it. The YouTube's up. You could go ahead and leave a comment there. Hit us up there. Many different platforms, man. Feel free. Go ahead and do so.
And we take everything from a recommendation all the way up to a full sponsorship.
Yeah.
And everything in between.
No, and let's make it clear. We want a sponsorship.
Okay?
We never neglect a sponsorship.
Yeah. I mean, I might not get to your comment. You know what I mean? No, obviously we would. I'd read it. I just might not give a shit about it. But if you sponsor it, we're in now. So you know what I mean? Don't be that guy. You know what I mean? Or that girl, whoever you may be. Go all the way in.
All right, so let's get into presentation for this bad boy.
All right. Well, let me say something about the presentation right off the jump, man. I want to say this comes in a nice tin container initially, which is it's nice and golden. If you want to see a picture of it, check out the Instagram. It's up there. We'll have that posted for you. So that's very nice already. It's nice gold tin. Very well done there. And then you pull the bottle out, and it doesn't disappoint. In my opinion, man, this is grade A presentation. Just bottle wise. How are you guys feeling about that?
I am very impressed with the bottle. I'm very impressed with the tin. I was talking to the guys earlier. I don't know how they make money with putting out the presentation like this. You got a nice tin can, gold. It looks really fancy. And then the bottle is just a really nice looking bottle. I mean, you look at it and it looks like a quality whiskey. So I'm very impressed with the presentation. This actually might be the best presentation that we've had on Whiskey Time, in my opinion.
Well, for me, I think right off the bat, I'm going to tell you what I think the look is worth. And I think I said, about $80?
Yeah.
It hasn't been disclosed to me, but to me, this presentation is definitely something that's up there, right? They definitely took their time.
It screams money.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I love the gold yellow look, the band on the bottom. It really gives it a superior look, right? Then you get to the bottle, and they keep kind of going with that same color scheme, which is that gold yellow. And the bottle's nice and slim to the top. Again, wrapped in gold with the cork top. So you just can't go wrong with this. You know what I mean? It looks good, and yeah, I mean,
very very impressive.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd like to mention too, as Anthony said, it looks like about an $80-$85 bottle, right? We've had a couple of those on here already. The actual price point for this is about $40-$45. So it's about half. The cost is about half of what it looks like, and that's a big deal right there. Well, and I think that's what lends itself to James asking.
James's point, right? Yeah. Like, how do they make money?
Exactly.
Right?
So this is a good example of, if you like a certain type of whiskey and it's a really good, decent drink for you, but it's not expensive, go ahead and recommend it. We would love to try out anything that you guys have. This is not an expensive bottle, but I'm impressed from the jump.
I'd say this is a good gift bottle. You know what I mean?
Oh,
this
definitely.
is like, people, when Carlos gave it to me, I literally was like, oh my God. Number one, it's aged 15 years. So that already adds some. You're already looking at like, holy shit, here we go. And then the presentation in itself, he gave it to me, and I was like, "Hey, you shouldn't have," you know. And he's like, "No, chill out."
This looks like a collector's bottle, like the one you put on your
Yes.
shelf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You put it there.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know. I just wanted to do
Yeah,
that.
don't do that.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I already did it. I did it, and I'm proud of it.
It's cool.
I don't care.
I liked it.
And it's there.
It was good.
We're here for it. We're here for it.
Let's get into the nose.
Let's get into the nose. Anthony, what do you like to call that?
Breathability.
Breathability. All right. So, as you guys know, we like to go ahead and hello.
Hello.
Buenos días.
How are you?
How are you?
¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? You know what, man? I knew that one.
What
I
a
know you did.
what a smell. I mean, this has breathability all over it. This right here, it smells great, guys.
I wanna splash a little in my mask. So when I go in the store, I just get a little of this Dewar's aroma, if you would.
Fuck the store, work.
Is
Throw it
it
on your
really-
mask at work.
Question: is it Dewars or is it Dewars?
That's a good question. Let's call it either or. Let's use it
Okay,
interchangeably.
okay.
I'm not Scottish, so I wouldn't
yeah.
know the
That's why I say let's use it interchangeably, and we'll just cover all our bases.
Well,
you know?
I guess I got us off topic, but for the breathability, I want to just get mine out there. Can I give my rating at this moment?
Hey,
Is
Anthony,
that okay?
this is your world.
all eyes on you, brother.
All right. So, me being new to this Scotch whiskey world, this is an amazing whiskey right here. I'm not kidding you.
Oh, you can see it on his face, guys.
Yeah, I love this shit. It smells it smells delicious. It
Again.
smells. I'm getting a hint of caramel here.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, I was getting plantain. I don't like, but I know that they're both like semi-sweet. You can get semi-sweet caramel, or is it caramel?
You know what? That's a good
We
question.
can use it interchangeably.
It's
Yes,
interchangeable.
yes.
Is it Dewars or Dewars?
Yeah, I like where we're going here.
Yeah.
I was getting a little sun-dried tomato.
You know what? I was because technically tomatoes are fruit, and I get where you're headed. with
Tomato.
that.
There's another
there you go.
interchangeable word. You know what I mean? Let's keep this shit rolling.
Right. Yeah. So but a little hint of raisin as well. Not grape, but raisin.
Not grape.
Yeah. Just there's a little sweet note in there
Let me
in the
see.
smell on the back end.
There it is. Yep,
You got it?
I get it.
I got prune. I want to make that clear.
No,
You know what I mean?
there's no fruit in this.
I got a
shit.
little prune, a little
Maybe-
more. You know what I mean? A little on that side of the town, those side of the tracks, if you would.
I'm
that's
getting
where I was
raisin. I'm
coming
getting
from.
a little hint of raisin.
All right, raisin it is. Remember the raisin commercials where they were singing? Yeah. Man, I'm old. Okay, so nosability, breathability, nose, whatever. Let's move into palatability. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've already drank it. If you're watching this on YouTube, I've been going in a little bit.
I think this is where my amazing taste came from. I already tried it out myself too.
Can we get a cheers? A salud. Arriba, abajo.
Pa dentro, pa fuera, pa centro.
Nah, that's not what it says. You fucked it up.
It goes para centro.
Hey,
Do it again.
disappointing.
Do it again.
No, dude, you blew it.
Pa
You blew
arriba,
it. You
pa
blew
abajo,
it.
Hey,
pa dentro.
Eric will be
Wait.
so disappointed.
Hey,
in you
how
right
do
now.
I know better than you? I told you I went to Mexico. Obviously, guys, another theme.
They taught you this shit?
I taught myself, bro.
Whoa.
All right. I was down there. I was with the people. I was blending. I was mixing. That's what we do.
So palatability.
Damn, this shit is good.
There you go. They took the words right out of my mouth. This shit is good. It has a smooth taste, and I know Ken doesn't like when I describe it as smooth. It has.
I don't mind.
It has. There's a comfort when you drink this whiskey. There's no kick
Is it
to it.
Southern?
It's not Southern. It's obviously Scottish, but
Maybe from the southern part of Scott?
Yeah, that could be a case.
Ken made a point on a past whiskey where you can kind of swish it around. You can kind of give it that taste a little bit. This is similar to that. It's really it has a really good flavor, but really mellow on the palate. So I am further impressed by this whiskey. For me, this taste is really, really good.
All right, man. I'm gonna just jump in here myself. I'm gonna say this. We've had a few whiskeys. I've had many in my time. This is taste wise. This one is up there. This one it's very smooth. As James said, I hate. I don't know where you got that from. I think I've used it to describe them many times, but we'll rewind the tape and see what that goes like. It just is all around a quality drink. I think there's no like normally you drink some hard liquor. A lot of times you get that like oh wow, that's tough. You know what I mean? None of that. This goes down smooth. You know, a-okay, if you will. I feel like especially for the price point,
Oh yeah,
you're getting your money's worth.
It's a steal.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Where you at, Anthony? What do you think?
I mean, what more can I add? This shit is amazing. This shit tastes amazing. Like, I can't complain. This goes down. I'm gonna use one of James's words, and the one that you hate goes down smooth. Like, typically when I take a breath, like one of my breathabilities, right? When I take a breath of this smell, it usually kind of deters me. I don't really want to drink it. It kind of scares me. This one gives you that Scotch whiskey smell. It's strong, but dude, this shit, you don't taste that smell. That it just goes down. Like, it goes down smoothly. There's no kick at the end. If you want a whiskey that is you're gonna like, that's good quality, go with the Dewar's 15 right here. And you get your money's worth. And I'm reading this label outside of this beautiful container, and I believe it's Dewar's because it's the owner, John Dewar, and Sons, from what I see here. So that's where the Dewar's come from.
You're just planning it. But again, Anthony's taking it neat, which again is a signifier that he fucks with it.
And let me make it clear, all of us are taking it neat.
We all
right?
are. We typically do. Anthony, the past couple episodes, has taken it neat. He's really taking the next steps in his game.
And speaking of which, I'd like to make a point. Like, you know what? I think I just want to promote people, you know what I mean? Have a good time. However you want to. In the past, I've talked a lot of shit. I tend to do that, but I do want to say, however you prefer it, go for it. However you prefer it, man. If you want to pour water in it, pour water in it. If you want to mix it with fucking Coke, I guess. Man, I couldn't understand why. But if you want to, you know, live your life. Listen,
this is definitely not one of the whiskeys you mix with Coke.
Yeah, this isn't Jack Daniels. As you guys have heard many times, I don't support
And
him.
I want to just give a shout out again to Carlos for me discovering one of my new favorite whiskeys.
Yeah, Carlos. And when he gave it to me, he said, I wanted to give it to you because this is one of my favorites. And man, that's love right there, man. Anybody that's not only do you listen, not only do you subscribe, you went ahead and went above that, and we sincerely appreciate that, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah, way to come through for that. Much appreciated.
Carlos. I tagged him on my story, so if you guys want to follow Carlos, I guess. I don't know if he likes that, but fuck it, follow him. So anyway,
let's get into the rating now.
That's rating time. Who wants to go first? I'll go first. Fuck it, I'm gonna go first. You know, I a lot of times I think you don't want to go first because you don't want to be that guy. But I'm gonna say this: presentation-wise, beautiful, no complaints, not one. Presentation, I give it a 10. Nosability, I'm gonna go 9. So I'm at a 19. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give it that. Now I'm not gonna count any more after that because
then you lose it.
Yeah, no.
He doesn't know how to add onto the 9.
I don't want to fuck it up. You know what I mean? Palatability, I gotta go 10 again. So actually, I take it back 29. You know, we can add that one up. You know, so that's a 29 out of 30. And I guess having that, I think I've gave one other one a 9. And that was way early on, and I thought it was a premature rating. You know what I mean?
You've been there before.
I shut off too early, if you will.
A little premature. I mean? You've been there.
Yes, I have. Unfortunately, more than I'd like to admit. However, I'm gonna say I want to give it. And one time we did this before. 11? No, lamb. No. I want to give it, and this is only because I get worried about rating something too high. But fuck it, I'm gonna go 9. I'm going to give it a 9 for what it cost and the way it looks. And also, I don't think we described the color of the actual whiskey here. It is a beautiful color whiskey that it lends itself well with the container, the rest of the bottle that it comes in, everything.
Caramel. It's caramel.
Yeah. It's that deeply rooted caramel. That's what I'm going to call it. We need to be interchangeable. All right. I'm going to give it a 9, man. I'm sitting on a 9. That's where I'm at.
Okay, well, I'll go next. I don't disagree with anything you said at all. I think the presentation already, before I even tasted this whiskey, I was looking forward to tasting this whiskey. Presentation's a 10 for me. Nosability, breathability, whatever you want to call it, it's up there. It's a 9. You know what I mean? It doesn't have any of that kick to it. It just smells like a really full flavor whiskey. What else I got? I got now palatability.
Yeah.
Palatability, it's extremely good. I'm gonna rate it a 9 as well.
Damn. Okay.
I'm gonna rate it.
James is a tough one.
I'm gonna rate it a 9 as well because this is the kind of whiskey that if I walked up to you, you handed me a glass of straight whiskey, neat, and said, "Don't ask me any fucking questions at all," and I drank this, I would ask for a second cup.
I would honestly assume, wow, this is some baller shit, and that's what I wanted to say.
Yes.
For the comparison of what we had, the Macallan, the Aberlour, you know what I mean? This is up there with them.
Oh yeah,
and those are double the price.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And we had a 12. To be fair, we only had a 12-year aged Macallan. However,
it stands
this
ground.
is still up there with and those are top names in the game.
Yeah.
So, all right, Anthony, we're gonna kick that to you.
So, obviously, me finding my new favorite whiskey here. I want to kind of touch
12.
back.
Well,
I want to touch back on something on the previous numbers that I've given, and it definitely.
Oh, you can't do that.
I'm not going to change them.
Okay.
I can't change them, but I'm
Okay.
just going to tell everybody who's listening, my experience with whiskeys is obviously growing, and it's really giving me
you were limited at the
a
time.
better ground to judge on. So
Makes sense.
please don't compare what I compared before and judged
Only
to
God can
today's.
judge you.
to today's, right? Because
Right.
they might have
There's
similar
been a lot of
comparisons.
Tupac references tonight. I gotta say.
There might be similar comparisons, but honestly, this one, I'm not bullshitting you. So with the presentation off the bat, it's a 10. I told you the beauty of it. I told you the packaging, the beautiful bottle. It's all amazing. The color of the whiskey, tits. The noseability. This is where you guys are going to be. I'm judging it on the point of view where when I take a breath of it, I do get a kick. And that's the great thing about what James said. You get the full flavor. You get the full flavor, right? So I'm gonna go with the 7.5, right? No, it's not.
Is that your
on.
overall rating? What the fuck are we talking about here?
That's just the noseability of it.
Wow.
Right? Because I feel like it's gonna taste like another whiskey, right? It's hard, it's strong, and I'm gonna get that flavor. But I'm gonna with the palatability.
So it's got roots.
I'm going with a 9. Right.
Okay.
So the taste of it 9. So that's what I'm saying. The noseability is a different thing. You'll get the full flavor.
I want the meat and potatoes right now, bro.
Yeah.
I want your overall. I want to hear it. The anticipation is killing me.
My skin's crawling over here.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm gonna rate this a 9.5.
9. You know what? How you gonna give it? What did you give it? A 7? A 7?
Yeah, but I'm only saying that for comparison. So if somebody doesn't like the smell of something, don't let this deter you from drinking it. Don't let it change the way you think of it, because once you drink it, it's not the smell. It goes down very smoothly. That's what I'm trying to get across to the people out there.
You know, that makes a lot of sense, because if the smell is strong, but you're not saying it's deterring. You're saying that it has body.
Yeah.
Right? So I get that. So when you taste it, you were thoroughly impressed with it, right?
Oh, for sure, 100%.
So that brings us to an overall rating of 9.2, which is great. That's fucking great whiskey. Again, thank you, Carlos.
I gotta say, hey Carlos, man. You know what? I am every time that I've drank with this man, I've had a good time. He's actually the guy who really got me. I was going to Old Stump before that, and I'll shout out Old Stump again. I was going there before that, but he really brought that to life for me, if you would.
That's the best brewery.
Yeah, it's up there. It's definitely
my
up
favorite.
Yep.
I mean, I love it there. Goddamn, I can't get enough of it. However, I gotta say, man, this man's never disappointed me. All the whiskeys that he's given me, he gave me an Irish whiskey once. And Carlos, if you hear this, I want you to give me the name of that. I was very impressed with that one as well. I'll pick that one up as you've already sponsored this. I won't ask you to do it again, but I do want to bring that on here. We haven't had an Irish whiskey yet. I think it'd be nice to have one.
Oh, yeah. So thank you for that. This is a very impressive whiskey. Again, if you guys for you guys out there that like whiskey, or you or your girl, or you want to buy a gift for your man, this is a steal.
Like, shit.
I cannot emphasize enough how much of a steal this is. This should be, if you have a whiskey bottle in your house at all times, this might be the one that you can get.
I mean, even outside of that, like I said, if you, let's say someone's getting married and you want to give them this is great. It looks like you spent about $100 on it. Whatever situation, Next time Anthony and him have a party, Anthony and Erica have a party, guess what you're getting, brother? Right? I'm coming through. Erica's going to think, oh, my God, you guys, you shouldn't have it. I'm like, oh, I didn't. You know what I mean? But here we go.
You'll know it's not expensive when I show up with one, too.
Yeah.
You get two of them.
Everybody's just bringing this shit.
We're on a budget. You know what I mean?
Anthony's going to be trash, dude. Right?
So the next day
Good time.
was not good.
So there's our rating of that, man. This one is a pleasure. I've had a good time drinking it. All right, and with that, that's gonna end whiskey time. I think we are well on our way in the pocket, and that's the goal. So with that said, I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna shift it over to where we're trying to head up over to next. And that I think what we want to do, we want to kind of talk about our childhood a little bit, and in a financial perspective. Our childhood, obviously, we didn't have money as children, but kind of how our parents, our families, how they approached kind of life and different finances in that regard. How was your world growing up in a money world? And so to give you a little bit of a background and to explain it a little bit, I do best with examples, so I'm going to say this. I definitely wasn't an impoverished. God damn, what a struggle there.
You drunk already?
No. You drunk? Yeah, a bit.
On that second attempt, I would have changed the sentence to like,
I should have.
I didn't deal with poverty as a child.
Yeah, no, impoverished. I got it. I fucking know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm back in control. All right, but you guys get what I'm saying. So with that aspect of it, we went places, we did things. Again, before I get too deep into it, just real high level overview, if you would. An example is I go to an amusement park with my family, and it's kind of like, hey, yeah, okay, we're here. I'm like, hey, Dad, you know what? Let's say I'm at Disneyland, which I hate, but let's say. And I'm like, I want some Mickey Mouse gloves. And he's like, fuck no, you don't get none of that. You get nothing, dude. I brought you here. Be happy. Middle class, you know what I mean? Probably at this time too, early on, probably lower level middle class, but we made it work, and that's not a bad situation to be in. So, but that's just a little background so you guys understand where I'm going with this. But I kind of thought it would be interesting to hear our different financial settings, if you would, growing up, and how we all kind of were raised. And then as Anthony and James both have children, I thought it would be a really interesting thing to see how they apply that when they're dealing with their kids, if it's the same mentality, if it's a different mentality, and how they do so. I know for me personally, I'm currently very different than how I was raised in a financial perspective, but still keep the principles in mind. You know what I mean? I do think I learned some things from that. So with that said, man, I'd like to hear where you guys are sitting at. I'd like to get you guys' perspective on your childhood, if you guys don't mind. I don't want to just throw it at you, throw the ball in your court, if you would. Yeah, but we're all looking at you, Anthony. We want to hear you. You know what I mean? But how was your lifestyle growing up?
Poor.
Okay.
Kidding.
Could you elaborate? You know what I mean?
No, so just like you said, middle class, growing up, me and my parents and my little brother, we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, 4 of us. So it wasn't until we moved out here to the city of Ontario, we got a house. So we finally started being able to see what a house is like and stuff. And so by no means were we rolling in money, right? Like my dad, truck driver, mom worked for the post office. So shout out to both of them. Definitely provided, and we're definitely happy. But kind of just going into like the whole Disneyland, we were not pass holders, right? And even then, I don't think there was such a thing as a pass holder.
The happiest place on earth.
But they took us, you know what I mean? Once a year, not every day. And when we did go there, kind of like to your point, we didn't get nothing. It was like we took our sandwiches in our backpack.
Shared a churro.
We took our, not even that, bro. I don't even know if they had those at the time. But
and what?
Churros.
A churro.
But
hey, look how I say that. Damn, I'm good.
You roll those R's, dude.
I rolled
like
it more. I don't like the way you said that.
Why? What's
I'm
wrong with
offended.
that? You rolled the R's.
He likes to be respected as bilingual.
Oh, my bad.
No,
Okay.
you're good, brother. Go
But-
ahead.
But
Go ahead.
so we took our stuff. We didn't expect to buy anything. Me as a kid, obviously, I wanted everything at Disneyland, and
Right.
at that time without inflation, it was still expensive. So and I wouldn't understand as a kid. I would throw my fits, and I want this, I want that, and it was like, no, you can't be happy. We're here, and I didn't understand it. But now looking back at it, definitely I see where it is, and I see how hard my parents worked to even just take us there, and even try to give us a semblance of what you see on the commercials, right? In the commercials, you see families going and eating there and staying. Even to this day, my wife is like, we should stay in the hotel one of these days. I'm like, yeah, I'm not about to pay $500 for one night. Like, that's ridiculous. I'm at that point. That's where I kind of draw the line. To that point, we do have passes. We do take our kids to Disneyland often before the quarantine.
A lot.
Before the quarantine, right?
A lot.
But
Yeah.
I honestly,
a lot.
it's not that I have money. It's not that I have that, but
a lot.
Yeah, you balling.
No bullshit. I just
Balling,
I want to
yeah.
show I want to be able to give my kids what I wanted. You know what I mean? Like, not trying to say that I didn't get what I wanted. We all are in different. We were all in different times and stuff like that. But what my parents did allowed me to be where I'm at now. And always I want my kids to be
Let me ask you a
further
question.
than where I'm at,
Okay,
right?
so right, and I hear all of that, and great, that's great, right? But I mean, like, can you elaborate a little bit about like how your lifestyle was when you were growing up, right? Like, I know that was like the Disneyland vibe. Your parents took you, and that's great, right? Same here. I imagine we've all been as kids. James has given me like a nod. I have not gone.
Never been.
If anybody wants to sponsor my Disneyland trip,
he's
first
still-
ever, you can
He's
film
still
a
never
vlog
been
about
there.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll shoot the fucking podcast there. Fuck it.
Yeah.
No, but if you could, Anthony, I'm very interested in getting a little deeper into that and just trying to get a better understanding of what was your childhood like, though. You know what I mean? Like, let me
Your household.
let me draw you a picture, right? Like, let's say, like, did you have what are the things that, like, as a kid, especially, and that's what I'm trying to capture here, is as a kid, what are the things you wanted and then didn't get, and then today, so understanding those, and then looking at it as today and understanding, because I'd imagine, man, I don't know your parents that great. I've seen your dad once, man. I was a little intimidated. I was scared. He was at the grill, and I was like, man, I don't know what the fuck to do, But understanding that, I do think, though, I imagine you grew up with everything you needed. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I definitely think your parents were like, hey, no, we're going to handle what the fuck we're here to do. But what are the things as a child that you were like, man, I wanted that, didn't get that? How'd that affect you? And then how do you view that today?
Yeah, definitely hardworking family. Like I said, blue collar. Things that I wanted, I could think back, toys, right? That you'd walk down Target on the aisle, you want the hockey stick, you want the football, you want this and that. And not that I didn't have that eventually, because my parents worked very, very hard to provide for me and my brother. But just basically that is basically getting it when you wanted it, right? That taught me that you need to work for what you want to get. Eventually, they did get it for me. I didn't have to work because I was a kid, but I would have it, right? So, ultimately, they just taught me the basically what it means to have hard work, earn what you're getting. And I think you know me enough to know that I don't let people who don't do hard work as a pass. Like, I don't know that shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
For me, so with me growing up, they definitely instilled that into me. Wanted the newest TV, the freaking Super Nintendos, the Sega Genesis, all that kind of stuff. I got the Nintendo, and I'm at this point in my life, even now looking back, that I was so happy getting it, right? I was so happy my dad buying me my first Nintendo. I didn't even expect him to buy it for me, and he probably doesn't even remember where he bought it. It was
I bet he does.
It was a used
No, I
Nintendo.
bet he does.
He might.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, it was a used Nintendo from, I don't know who it was from, so that's the kind of like vague in my mind. But I will always carry that memory. Like, that's one memory that I never forget, is when I'm assuming he saw how happy I was with that Nintendo, that he bought it for me, and I took it home. And like any other Nintendo, you're blowing in the fucking game, using some alcohol, trying to clean it up to play it. But I loved that damn thing, right? And then when the next thing came out, Super Nintendo, I wanted that too. So that just goes to show you, that's kind of where I came from. Not saying my parents always provided for us, and we always got it eventually. Maybe it wasn't when it first came out that we got it, but we eventually worked for it and they gave it to us eventually. So that's kind of where I kind of want to instill that too. Like I don't want to give my kids everything up front. I want to make sure they know what it takes to get it.
Right. And just to continue on that point, I'd imagine and that's kind of what I want to ask, right? Is the difference in, so at that point as a kid, I imagine when they're like, nah, you can't have that, it's kind of like, well, why not? You know what I mean? It's children, which we all understand, right?
I mean, growing up, I didn't know anything about money, and I thought my parents were rich.
Right.
Like, oh, you write a check for $300. Damn, that's a shitload of money.
Oh, yeah.
Not knowing that
$10, I think, man. I remember like toys. I remember counting pennies as a child.
I used to see, well, obviously not, but I used to see like a rent payment or this, and I'm like, holy smokes, like that shit's a lot of money.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to cuss again. I've been cussing a lot.
That's good not to, yeah.
But I saw that and I'm like, damn, like that's a lot of money. You know what I mean?
I want to ask you this. Like I said, one of the questions I want to understand is understanding that and then how you view it today and how you apply it in your life today. Can you elaborate on that aspect a little bit? Like you touched on it and said, hey, you know, you want to teach that to your kids, but how do you teach that to your children today? Like, what are the methods that you do? Because I also understand, and correct me if I'm mistaken here, but that you take the effort, and I imagine like you're looking at like, hey, I didn't have this, I want to give you this, which I think should be the goal. But how do you then still teach them the same lessons that you learned?
I'm going to be honest with you right now. I think my kids are 2 and 1 years old, so I don't think they're at that age for them to grasp that yet. So I don't do that. I don't do that at all. I give them whatever they want at this moment.
Yeah.
So I'll wait till my son and my daughter know what
when they understand that. Right?
Yeah. But even to this day, I want to already try to give them everything that I can give them. You know what I mean? And that's not to nothing bad on my parents, because they gave me everything they could. They gave me what I needed. You know what I mean?
Right.
And to this day, I know exactly what that is. Right? I'm not sitting here saying, oh, they didn't provide me with the PlayStation 4 or whatever. I don't give a shit about that.
Out,
yeah.
Anthony.
Well, you know what I'm saying though. Like even now, like the PlayStation 5 is gonna come out. I ain't gonna go get that shit.
I'm gonna get it.
I'm not getting it.
I'm getting it the day it fucking comes out. I got the 4 today it came out. No, you're absolutely right.
I also will not be getting it.
I'm not spending that money.
I will be getting it. I'll tell you guys how it is. Can I jump in a little bit here?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm gonna tell you guys this. Look, as Anthony said, man, my parents initially got me. I had shit when I was a kid that I think a lot of people didn't. I remember at one point, a lot of kids in my neighborhood coming to my house to play Street Fighter, man. We have tournaments at my house, you know. And also with that said, I mentioned before, my mother passed away when I was a lot younger. And I think, you know, obviously, so when that kind of thing happens, you know, a lot of things change in life, you know what I mean? And, I mean, we obviously, me and my sister at the time, we never needed anything. And the things that we needed, I should say, we definitely had. There was never a time when I didn't have something that I absolutely needed. All of that was provided. My dad really would always make sure everything was provided for. I absolutely commend that man for doing that in every fashion. He absolutely did, and still went to work and still managed all of that. So I think that's amazing. However, though, I mean, there were certain things that I felt as a child that I wanted and wasn't getting, and especially as a child, I would look at it like, hey, you know what? I had my cousins, man, and my cousins would be like these guys always had like the coolest shoes and shit, you know what I mean? And I'll never forget it, like going to their house and they got the Dennis Rodmans, they got the Gary Paytons, they got the Jordans, you know what I mean?
Shit.
Yeah, and I'd be looking like, and I until like I'd be around them, I didn't even know about it. I'm not no lie, man. Like my dad was taking me to Payless, and I'd go to Payless and be like, damn, these shoes are hot fucking fire. You know what I mean? I thought they were dope. And then I'd take them to my cousin's house, and they'd be like, ha, look what you wearing. You know what I mean? And
they were
like,
lighting up.
Yeah. No, you know what I mean? And I get it too. I don't even think they were trying to be mean about it. I just think they were kind of like, damn, you know, like that's what you're wearing.
Shout out to Payless. Even though they went out of business.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
the BOGOs are gone?
They're
no
gone,
more BOGOs.
They're gone. But you know what?
They're just not in your neighborhood no more.
No, they're gone.
Yeah,
they're
Anthony moved up.
Well, let's just say they filed for bankruptcy. And I heard they were closing all the stores. That's neither the point here. What I'm trying to say is I remember Payless because my mom used to take me there too, right? Like, And back then I was embarrassed, right? Today I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I don't care.
I see. You know, I ain't rocking no Payless. It's
He's-
just the
he's
fuck
wearing
out,
the
fuck
latest
out of here.
Nikes.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
not.
Fuck out of
It's
here.
not. Not bullshit.
Yeah, dude.
No,
Fuck out of here with that.
but let's be real. Like, what I'm saying is back then, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Well, today, so let me get to my point, man. You know, let
My
me
bad,
let
I'm
me
sorry.
get where I'm
sorry.
going here.
I'm sorry.
So, you know, whatever, I get these Payless. Like I said, my cousins be there. They kind of pointed out. I didn't know any better or any different until that. And, you know, and that's cool, whatever. But then I started looking at them and what they're getting, and I started like, hey, Dad, what's up? You know what I mean? And I'm not considering a lot of different aspects of that. And I'm not going to get into great detail to it at this point, but you know, my dad was doing things that were a bigger picture at the time. You know what I mean? He was really, I think he was being strategic and really trying to plan on some other level. And hey, you have shoes. Your shoes are good. I used to go to Bugle Boy Jeans. That was my go-to. And I had no issues with them. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm all the way in.
Bugle Boy Jeans. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah,
Me
well,
neither, no.
fucking Google it, dude. It's 2020. But yeah, that's what I was rocking
What
all the
style-
time.
what style did they
Kmart
do?
have them? Because if not, then I'm out.
Well, so I was privileged, you know. But that's my point, right? So these are the
Mervyn's?
things I would
Target?
get. But I kind of go to school, and people were like, "Oh man, I got these Tommy jeans on." You know, I'm like, "Oh wow. You know, whatever."
Talk about having money.
But you know, the thing I'm trying to say is though, the way I was raised and how I grew up, I definitely had things that a lot of people probably would be more than happy with.
Yep.
But I also think, looking at that, man, you know, whatever situation you're directly in, you look at another situation and think, damn, I wish I was doing that. I think it's weird, and it's almost like, is it instinctual to want to be at another level, or to be kind of like see your peers around you and kind of be like, damn, well, why don't I have that? Because I was such a child and still would look at it that way, right? But just to re-elaborate on what my childhood was like, I definitely had everything I needed. I definitely, anything I needed. If like I had holes in my shoes, which at one point I remember I was about to go to Six Flags one day, and I'm getting ready to go. My dad comes in my room. I'm putting my shoes on, and my fucking foot's damn near poking out of the shoe. And my dad was upset. Like, why didn't you tell me about this?
Hey, I just want to make a point. That actually came into style for a little while.
I don't think it did.
No. With
Did it?
skaters. With skaters.
No, dude.
No. How many skaters did you not know that had holes on the side of their shoes from doing kickflips?
Yes,
But the
yes,
toe-
but that wasn't like no.
the toe
but that
kicking
wasn't
through?
even then.
No,
that wasn't like
no,
cool,
bro.
though.
They were even like even the skater shoes were talking sometimes. The bottom.
Yeah,
was
I just
flapping
imagine they
out.
just didn't, you know.
But what I'm saying is
He's
that they
only
were-
half
what,
white.
what I'm saying is that they were okay with it. What I'm saying is that it came into style for some time.
Well, I think sometimes trends like that come into style because, you know, probably more so the area and then I guess the social status of most of the people in that area. But I mean, fuck, that's how it works, right? Like if you look at like inner city kids, they typically drive what the trends are for a large aspect, and these are the people making the most with nothing. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what happens.
So he was mad at you for not telling him.
Oh yeah, my dad was upset with me, and like I didn't get it at the time. I was like, "Why you mad at me, dude? Like, what the hell?"
Hook me up.
But today I understand. Like, fuck, as a parent, and now my kid's walking around with holes in his shoes. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And I remember him being upset. And before we went, he actually went and bought me shoes, things like that. But so that's just a little taste of my life, right? Like, but it was absolutely not a bad life. I definitely didn't get everything I wanted growing up, but I got everything I needed. And as a single father, I think, man, you know, my dad really rose to the occasion and made sure me and my sister definitely did have everything we needed. And like I said, the point I was making initially was just kind of like, as a kid, there was a lot of things I'd complain about. But you look at it now, and I'm like, man, you had nothing to complain about ever. You know, people are far worse off than you. And wow, how lucky were you to have I had like I said, Nintendo. I had a TV as a kid. I had everything I needed. I had roller skates. I had bicycles. I had everything I needed. You know what I mean? And we'll get deeper into it. But I would like James, if you want to kind of just touch on where you were coming from.
Yeah. So from my life, I really have broken it up into 3 different tiers. My dad died when I was 11 years old. So you have like the pre-death, you know what I mean? So a lot of that was I was young, you know, so we didn't have everything we needed, but I didn't know what I didn't have. And we didn't go to Disneyland. We definitely didn't go to Disneyland. Except for my Nina, my godmother, she would take me to Disneyland and stuff like that. But growing up, I remember, uh, being on welfare. You had $1 in food stamps, and you'd go run to the store and you'd go pick out your bag of chips, whatever you're gonna get. But that's kind of the life I lived pre-death. You know what I mean? I was telling Ken earlier, I grew up with having financial issues. At times there's no power. There's no power in the house. So I'm taking shower by candlelight at the end of the night. I actually am fond of candles now because of that reason. It brings that nostalgia back. Um, I didn't grow up very privileged, but I did have a very strong family group that took care of each other. The power was out. Who was there? My grandpa was there. My grandpa would come through, turn the power on, bring us a Happy Meal. But we didn't have much. We were, I don't even know if we were blue collar. We were just making shit work in a certain way. My mom at one point had 2-3 jobs. She'd go to work, come home when the sun came up, back hurting, back brace on. I learned that early on. It's where a lot of my work ethic came from. My dad, same way. He was more of a hustler. My dad would find out what we needed and he would go and get it. I don't know. To this day, I'm 31 years old. I don't know exactly how he did it, but he always did it.
It just appeared.
It just always appeared. Every year, like you go and talk about Payless, yeah. I have an idea that my grandparents had a big part to do with that, but my dad also had a huge part to do with that. Payless was a huge thing. So for me, that was just standards. Back to school shopping, let's go to Payless. You get the best light ups you can get. You get the best shit you can get. So I didn't grow up necessarily understanding what I missed out on, but I do, as an adult, understand what I have in front of me, what I have to look forward to, the expectation that I have. So I grew up very, like, I've been homeless at times. You know what I mean? Like I had rough patches in life, but for the most part, it was not much out of life that we were getting. We were getting the bare minimums out of life. But there was a lot of supplemental help. And I don't know if that's like part of where you grow up, but we had a lot of support. So for Ken, who had the hole in his shoe and his dad was working his ass off to pick up the slack of being a single dad, my parents were working their ass off, but they also had help from the grandparents and stuff like that. It's just what we had. We had more of a community, like, kind of upbringing where, like, okay, we're going to grandma's because we're going to eat dinner tonight. You know what I mean? Like, you don't always have dinner. So you have to kind of rely on our family. So that's why my family is a huge part of who I am today. I just appreciate everything they've done for me to this point. But the expectation out of life when I was younger wasn't very great. We were kind of just living, and I feel like I've exceeded that to this day. And yeah, kids like shoes. Like my daughter, she's 7 years old. She's got shoes and they're scuffed up. I'm telling her, like, hey, I'm gonna buy you a new pair of shoes.
It doesn't bother her as much as that you look at it and see something with it, I'd assume.
Unless someone picks on her, but yes,
right,
it does not bother her. She would rock them to the end,
which is interesting, right?
But
like,
kids are mean.
Well, I mean, but it's interesting. Like as a kid, and I imagine the kids that would pick on her would be kids that someone's picked on them at some point, right? Like I said, my cousins, and my cousins are like fucking awesome too. Let me make that clear. My cousin actually just shouted out our podcast on his Instagram, and he's like,
"Thank you for that."
Yeah, he's cool as fuck. Real Dickie Jones. You know what I mean?
I follow him too. I follow him personally.
Yeah, so shout out to you for doing that, man. I appreciate that. Good looking out. You know, by no means I'm not trying to say like, oh, these guys would bully me or anything, but I think they would just kind of like, you know, point some shit out, you know what I mean? Well, him in particular, you know, his brother was a little more humble, I think. You know what I mean? But we'll leave that out, man. You know, man, something I was thinking of while you were saying that is too, you know, like what I learned from my father, and if anything, was you, number one, you never give up. Okay, like you keep going. I mean, there was a time. I won't get into all the details about why this happened, but me, him, and my sister lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. You know what I mean? And I mean, James, you mentioned being homeless. I couldn't relate to that. You know what I mean? But I can say we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I think, man, my dad, he definitely. That wasn't the end of it. You know what I mean? I didn't even feel like it was a big deal. I mean, I remember the Christmas then and getting a Game Boy Pocket and being like, holy shit, I'm in the game. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, cool. It's funny, man. I remember this shit. I was in 4th grade. I remember this shit like yesterday. I go to school. I'm playing my little one game I got. It was like Tetris. I used to love Tetris, man. That was my game, you know? And then there's one of the teachers I was pretty friendly with, you know, this one of the teacher's aides, as a matter of fact.
What was her name?
It was a chick. I don't remember her name, but she was like, "Yo, hey, I got some games. You want to borrow them?" And I'm like, today I think about like, do you think I was poor? You know what I mean?
Well, somebody did buy you a lunch pail.
Yeah, whatever, dude. That was weird. But anyway,
did they think
she gave me the games, and then like I didn't go to that school anymore, and I never
them all?
I never returned the games.
Whoa,
yeah,
dirty.
I didn't mean to steal them. I didn't mean
dirty,
to.
Bro.
But you got to also understand,
find her
I was
on
a
Instagram.
child, and things changed.
Find her on Instagram and send them back to her. Please.
Look, if I'm telling you guys, I remember it. Obviously, I was like, damn, that wasn't right. I didn't mean to do that.
Ooh.
But you know, again, like I was interested in seeing the difference to how you guys approach it. Because I'd say like this. For me, like I said, shoes was something that really stood out to me. So from that point, once I started making my own money and doing my own things, I was like, you know what? Let me backtrack a little bit. One Christmas, I'm telling my aunt, my cousin's mom, and I'm like, yo, you know what? You know what I'd really want for Christmas?
I'm gonna be a millionaire.
No, dude, what the fuck, dude? Who says that for Christmas? No, okay. I tell her, I say, you know what I really want for Christmas? I want a pair of Jordans. You know, like all I want is a pair of Jordans.
Which ones?
My cousin had the patent leather lambs. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, I want those so bad. He had the white and black ones. Real Dickie Jones, you know what I'm talking about, right? And I remember walking in Target and looking, and his shoes are just reflecting the light off of them, and I was like, man, those are cool, dude. I want them so bad. I'm telling her, like, yeah, I want them. She was like, I'll get you a pair, and I was like, oh shit, all right. Christmas rolls around, and I see a box under the tree with my name on it, and I go and I'm like, this is shoes. I know what it is. I'm pumped. I can't wait. I can't wait. Christmas rolls around. This is the first thing I'm going for. I'm like, I'm in the game. Finally.
They're not the ones.
I open the box, and as soon as you see the box, I'm like, well, this is familiar. This is Payless. You know what I mean? And I open it, and I mean, even then as a kid, though, I understood somebody did something for you, be appreciative.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I look and I'm like, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Inside, I am broken. You know what I mean? Like, I am fucking falling apart. And I'm like, I just need to get out of here. You know what I mean? I
need to collect my thoughts.
I can't keep this together right now. Yeah. Today I look at that and think, man, what an ungrateful little asshole. You know what I mean? Like, somebody went and got you anything. Yeah, that was doing something nice. But also, you know, you know.
I'm not going to lie. When I was growing up, a trip with my grandmother and grandfather to fucking Kmart and Payless on back to school fucking shopping, I was happy just to get things in the cart for myself. like oh, that's for me. That backpack's for me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, and because Payless and Kmart were in the same shopping center,
right?
So like we head over there and we get our shit, but all of it was great. So yeah, you are taught. Whether or not it is like, hey, I'm gonna whoop your ass if you're ungrateful or not.
Yeah.
You are taught to look at what you have as a necessity, and you appreciate that. And I did. I swear to God, I looked at everything I got from Kmart and everything I got from Payless. I felt like $1 million every time.
Was this the shopping center off of 4th?
This was off of 4th and Baker for everybody who lives.
I know exactly that one.
And we get a Little Caesars on the way out.
Hey, R.I.P. There's no more Payless or Kmart there.
Hey, it's all gone.
It's all gone.
And you know what? I want to make this clear too, man. As much as like as a little kid, and that's something I'd never forgot. Again, I just want to make it a point. Like, man, shout out to everybody that ever did anything like that for me, man. You know what I mean? That's all love, dude. Like I said, it just this one situation always stood out to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just. I mean, fuck, I thought like, oh, I'm in the game. And the point I'm making is though, that always stood out, and how that affected me as an adult later on was fuck it. I'm gonna buy Jordans all the time, and I mean, when you guys fucking we initially started kicking it, I had Jordans every day. That's all I wore was Jordans. I didn't give a shit. Jordans every day.
You and your dad.
Why? Because I was trying to make up for something that I felt like I didn't have. And today I look at it like, well, that was dumb. You know what I mean? And not because like I was buying Jordans, but because I'm paying the aftermarket price for these Jordans.
Premium.
You know what I mean? And so that's why I look at like my cousin now who buys them. He buys them straight up, and then he's like, yeah, I'm gonna find suckers like you who's gonna pay me triple what they cost, and I'm gonna make a bunch of money off of it. But then I was like, well, why don't I just hit him up? You know what I mean? He'll probably hook me up. And I'm sure he would. I don't like doing that either, man. You know, that's just money. I don't want to mess with that either.
I just want to say your dad, who also worked with us, wore Jordans as well.
You know what, dude? Don't ever say that again. That guy was not my dad. My dad's a fucking hustler, man. I give my dad all the credit in the world for that, man. Yeah. I know what you're saying. I'm fucking around, but I just want to make it clear. Nah, man, my dad hustled. He took care of 2 kids by himself. Raised me well enough to understand how to get up, get my sister ready, handle all that, take her to school, take my own self to school, go pick her ass up from school, help her with her homework. He get home, and then we.
And you know what? I will even say to that point. I don't know, but me being a father, it's fucking difficult. Even being a father with my wife being there, but how you said that your dad raised you and your sister.
That sounds like a goddamn superhero to you.
Yeah,
now.
Exactly. It
yeah.
does. It does.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's for sure exactly where I'm going with that. And just for my parents, today I look at them and they are my superheroes as well. Like for everything that they did, for everything I was ungrateful for everything that I look back now and I'm like, shit, you guys went way out of your way to do shit. My mom would take me back to school shopping wherever I needed to go, even though she was working. She'd come home 5:30 all day in the sun. And hey, let's go get you some clothes. Like I put myself in those shoes down. I get home and I don't want to do shit. I just want to lay on the couch and binge watch Netflix, right? So shout out to my parents and your father and James's mom.
So what are the base level expectations that you guys got out of your childhood? So I'll go first. One of the basic levels of expectation I have out of my life growing up is I want to live in a good neighborhood. Like that's something I want. I want to feel comfortable. I want to enjoy my space. I want to feel comfortable in my neighborhood. That's one of the things that I am most happy about, because when I was growing up, I never lived in a house until I lived in a house. We rented a house in 3rd grade, but I never lived in a house until I was about 20 something years old. I always moved from apartment to apartment, and that was my life. I had a lot of friends. I grew up in that kind of dynamic, a lot of different people that I grew up around. But I always knew that I wanted to live in a neighborhood in the suburb. I don't want to say the suburbs, but I wanted to live in a home. I wanted a house that I can kind of feel like was mine. Have a few neighbors and enjoy that. So that's something that I took from my childhood, that's an expectation that I have in my life.
All right, man. I acknowledge that, and I'm with you on that. One of my goals personally is to also own my own home at some point. But I think deeper than that, like right now, I don't have any children or anything like that. To that point, I think, like I said, I learned a lot from my dad. You know what I mean? Like, again, I've said before, we don't always see eye to eye, man, but I respect him like no other. You know what I mean? That guy really taught me everything I need to know, and maybe I don't always agree with him, but I do always respect who he is and how he handles his business. You know what I mean? How he takes care of what he has to. And with that said, I think I take like the two of you here, and I always look at like in my future state, if I have a kid, I think both of you guys are terrific fathers. You know what I mean? And Anthony, a terrific husband. We'll let Erica discuss that. Right? Yeah. But no, you get what I'm saying, man. So I guess for me, man, like what I want to do, I did grow up in a house, and then we moved to an apartment, and then we moved back to that same house, and then we moved to a bigger house. And my parents still live in that house currently. And I'd be okay. I'm okay with that level of what they did. However, I also think I shoot for the fucking moon. You know what I mean? Like I want to own my own business. I don't want to work for anybody else eventually. I have goals and aspirations of doing my own thing and getting there. And with that said, if I do have children, you know what I mean? I want to, I think what you guys have both demonstrated, what you've said from your lifestyle into where it ended up blossoming into for you, your goal has been to try to give them more than what you've had. I imagine, and I do for a fact know from what my dad grew up in to where how he raised me, it's leaps and bounds. There's the huge difference there, right? And that should be how you want to do it. You should want to progress, and you should want to. So that's my biggest thing is progression.
And exactly that. You want to leave your basically your legacy better off than what you were, right? Like I tell Eric all the time, I'm like, I don't care what happens to me, but I want to. If something happens to me, I want to leave you and the kids better so they can start off better than what I did and what my parents did.
And hopefully
that's ultimately the progression you want to keep going
and
forward.
Hopefully, yeah, that puts them in a position to do more, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I would feel like a failure if I didn't, like me, my dad, anytime we've ever discussed it, has been like, man, you know, I'm absolutely proud of you. You know what I mean? He's never said anything outside of that, really. However, though, me, man, my expectations, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna say some shit I don't say all the time, man. One day we're having this conversation, dude, and he tells me, you know, one of the last things your mother told me before she died was to make sure you and your sister go to college and graduate. And I just fucking started crying, dude. I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? I felt like, fuck. I'm like 23 maybe at the time, and I'm like, I'm not even in school. You know what I mean? I'm doing shit. And I just thought, like, fuck, dude, I have failed in that regard, and it fucked me up. You know what I mean? And I started school a little bit, and then got out of school, and then started it back, and got out of school. I imagine a lot of people could relate to that, and especially because I think my main goal was to make money, and school isn't necessarily directly going to make you money. And since then, though, I mean, even recently, I just thought, well, that was fucking stupid. I have a decent job. I make okay money enough where I can fucking go to school, and I should go to school because it means something to me to understand that was, you know what I mean? Like, hey, dude, I don't know a whole hell of a lot about my mom as she died when I was a kid, but at least I don't think my dad told me that shit to fuck with me. I think he told me it like, hey, dude, I just want you to understand I tried to put you in that position. I think it's failing both of them if I don't do it. And that's why he did put me in that position.
And that's why
I didn't do it. And I didn't do it. You get what I'm saying? Well, no, don't. You know, we'll see what happens. But just, you know what I mean. That's not for the world to know. You know what I mean? But
let's not press the issue too hard. But I think that you have a lot of things that go on in your life as you're being raised that they stick or they don't. I think that you have kids like if you're Anthony right now and you want to give your kids everything. Some shit sticks, some doesn't. So do you teach them the value of the dollar or you don't at any point in their life? But there's certain times where you will impact them in a certain way, whether that's what you said to them. For Ken earlier today, it's been the gesture of the shoe. Like, hey, motherfucker, you should have let me. Your shoe was busting through. Yeah. For Anthony knows what it's like to not have the dollar. He grew up without the dollar, and which is why I look at Anthony as my financial guy. He understands what that is, and he gives his kids the better life, and that's fucking amazing. And for me, like with my daughter, I try to show her that where we are, like you got to be happy here first, and then everything you get on your own is up from here.
Which is true.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I try to set her level of expectation for life high, because my expectation for life is high. So I try to put her base level really high in my eyes, but for her it goes way higher than that. So you, as you're growing up, you are just trying to get through that. You're trying to understand what it's like to go through poverty and what it's like to be homeless and not know what that's like, and be with a single dad, or be, you know, like not to get a churro at fucking Disneyland. or not to ever go to Disneyland.
I get a churro every time now.
Hey, I got a question for you, James. This is my question though. God damn it! You know what?
Are you
Never
drunk?
mind. No, I'm not drunk, man. I had it in my
You got
mind the
out of
whole
the
time,
pocket.
and then I said churro and got distracted.
Nah, you're out of the pocket now.
He's dived into the other
Yeah,
pocket.
get into the pocket.
You guys
bro.
have seen everyone listening to this has heard how I get when I'm in and out of the pocket. No, I'm fine. But James, I have a question for you directly. You mentioned your expectation of life and everything like that, and how you raised the bar. So my question to you, sir, is what got you to raise your expectation of life? Like, how did you get there? Like, if you said you came from this, what got you to want to expect more from life and to think that, and maybe I sound like a little bit of a dick the way I'm asking it, but fuck it, let's roll with it. What got you to think, hey, I can reach a higher level. I can get to this point. And then also, if you would, as a second part to that question, how do you then get your daughter to extend that level even higher than what you did for yourself?
Well, I think first of all, it starts with financial. So like financially, that's the expectation, right? Like I grew up without money. The basic level expectation is there's got to be some money for the life you want to live. Second of all, it comes from the life that you're living. Like what do you want out of life? Do you want, like I've always had this idea. I would never move into a neighborhood that I couldn't move into comfortably. So like looking back onto the past, I wouldn't be able to move into a neighborhood that people are scoping my shit out as I'm moving it in. You know what I mean? So it's more so about raising her level. She'll never know that. She'll never know the expectation that I set for her. But financially, it has to. That's the first step, and I think that's what Anthony touched on earlier. Is like he can go to Disneyland because that's what he wants to give his kids. But financially, you have to set that bar. And I think for a greater part of my professional career, I didn't necessarily have that expectation of what the dollar amount was, what it meant. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, man. I appreciate your response to that. Anthony, man, I'm gonna pose the same question to you. How do you set the bar, the standard, if you will, for where your expectations are, and then future state? I know your kids are very young at this point, but how do you then communicate to them on how to raise that bar? How obviously hypothetically, but what is your idea on how you will do that in the future?
Well, I think that's a hard question at the moment, right? Being that they're so young, but I think I would hope that they see as they're growing up my work ethic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And use that as a baseboard to further their development. Ultimately, that's really the only thing I could think of. Other than giving them advice as they're growing up on what I as a kid, what I had. Not even say what I had to deal with, because I didn't have to deal with anything really. Like honestly, like I had a great childhood, but just kind of discussing with them where they need to go, what they need to do, giving them advice. That's really all that there is to it. I don't know what else I could give them. To be honest with you, when I sit here, I didn't have a hard life. So to come from a perspective of dealing with certain things, I didn't. I don't want to sound like I had it all either, but like when I hear James's story, when I hear your story, I don't think I had a hard life. I didn't have a rich life, but looking back at it now, I didn't have a hard life, and I'm trying to do that at least at the minimum for my kids, but give them even more that I could, right? Like my parents did it for me. I do it for them. They do it for their kids. Hopefully I'm dead by then. Hopefully I get to meet them and then I'm dead, right?
Hopefully you're dead.
No. What I'm saying is I don't want to be 110 years old and not being able to do shit, right? Like I think you made a point a couple episodes ago, 70, 80. That's kind of the expectancy.
I'm okay with that,
right?
Yeah.
The expectancy, right? I want to meet my grandchildren. I want to enjoy them for a little bit, and then hey, I go up and smoke. I'm done. Right. But But that's really it. Like I just hope they can. I'm a example kind of leader, so I hope that they also take into
see
effect that, right, that they see me do this, they see me do that, they see me work like this, and they take a little bit of that, right?
Kind of like Troy.
Exactly. I'm exactly like Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Well, I look like Brad Pitt, so that's cool too. But the black version, the mixed version.
I'm getting to the muscles of the portion of it, right? I've been dieting. By the way, how is your weight?
No.
How's your diet going?
I'm gonna say this, man. Again, so I don't have a kid at the moment or anything like that, right?
That you know of.
I don't say that, dude. That's bullshit. No, I don't have any kids.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, you're not. You son of a bitch.
Well, there's that one.
Well, shut the fuck up.
Remember that one time you told me?
Oh my god. Can I talk once ever? Jeez, you guys are. You know what? Whatever. Anyway, but I do know some people, right? I don't have a kid right now. Let me start over. I don't have a kid right now or anything like that. Hopefully, man, one day I will. I think it would be a great thing. I think I would absolutely enjoy trying to teach somebody something like that and really investing my time in that. And I think I typically really put a lot of effort into the things I care about. And I can't imagine I care about anything more than that. So I think that I would do so. However, I want to make this point. I know a lot of people, and sometimes I visit them and I see things, and I go, kind of hang out in their world a little bit. And this world is a world that I used to live in myself, and I see it now today. And I won't get into great detail because I don't want to blast anybody or anything like that. But sometimes I go back into this world and I look at it, and I'm just fucking blown away. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, man, how is your standard of life so low? And these are people that I think can achieve such a great level of greatness. I'm sorry to use it that way, and that's a shitty way to put it, but I think they can achieve so much more than they have, and yet this is the level that they're living at, and they don't. I think a lot of the times they don't necessarily. I don't want to say they don't believe in themselves because I think they do, but they don't know how to raise the bar, if that makes sense, right? Like they believe in themselves, but they don't know that they can reach a higher level than that. And that I think is something that I am very appreciative of my upbringing, my father directly, and even my mother to that extent, and telling me like, man, you can do anything you fucking want to. You know what I mean? Like if you dedicate yourself to it, you can do it. And I think even then, like as a kid, and I'm saying that, like most of the time I'd be like, yeah, bullshit, I couldn't do a lot of things. But today I look at it and I think, no, they're absolutely right. If I really want to dedicate myself to something, I probably could. And I think I typically don't until lately, and I think I've decided that I can do more. But when I think of how I would raise the bar for my kid in particular, and again, all hypotheticals, I don't have one. But I think, I'd want them to understand the level of life. And I imagine this is me learning from my own father, it's like understand where you're at and understand like my job is then to give you all the tools to get you to the next level. And big part of why I said I do want to go to school and I do want to do that is because how do I tell my kid to go to school if I never did? You know what I mean? And if I got this type of degree, then I think, man, understand how I got that, and I wasn't this overachiever. So you just give a base level of effort, and you can overachieve that, and you can be great. And I think like what I hear from James, and I imagine Anthony in time, I think you'll do the same. But right now, I see James and how he embraces his daughter's dreams and really supports him and backs him and gets into it with her and shows her you can do these things, and it reminds me of my father growing up, and like I want to play football. All right, well, he comes to the games, and I'll make it clear to you, I was no starter. I wasn't the motherfucker on the field all the time, and my dad was at every damn game that I had anyway, you know what I mean, and didn't give a shit. He supported it every step of the way. Anytime I was really doing anything, I think that goes further than the financial support, is somebody being there and supporting what you want to do and give you the love on that. And that's what I think, in my opinion, how I felt I wanted to raise the bar. You know what I mean? Like from what he said, and I thought, you know what, dude, I want to make him proud. You know what I mean? And how do I do that?
And I think there's a strong correlation from what he showed you to what you are now, similar to my dad, right? He was an immigrant. Now he's obviously a citizen, so don't deport him, please. Right?
Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But,
he's legit.
He's
You know what I mean? For sure.
legitimate.
Yeah.
But dude, he has his own business now. He's been having his own business for 20 something years.
He said one step
right?
out on us.
Yeah, he does. But just to go to show you, my dad is not a person to give you this freaking speech and tell you to motivate you. But what I took from it is, hey, this is what you came from. This is what you did. I only know so many stories about my dad that he's told me, right? Like my dad had a tough childhood, right? Really, really tough. But
Same.
yeah. So he's overcome, and for me, not saying that I'm trying to be better than my dad, but like I know
he'd want you to
I know
be,
he'd
I
want me to be
imagine.
better,
Yeah.
right? But like he'd want me to be better. He's given me that platform to be a little bit better and to catapult me to better, right?
Can
And
I
that's
ask you a
ultimately
question?
what it is, what I want to do for my kids.
Let me ask you a question though. Do you imagine? I imagine, because same for my dad. So let me give you. I imagine same for my father, who tough shit. My dad grew up in middle of fucking Watts in a terrible era, and fucking made it through it. Right. The question I want to ask you is, do you imagine he sheltered you from his lifestyle and livelihood at that time intentionally?
Definitely.
Yeah, same.
Definitely. And I don't think I understood it initially.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can today, you know?
I could today. Definitely
We couldn't relate to the shit they went through.
Yep.
And I applaud them for that. And I
Yep.
imagine that these are the things I'm saying. I imagine, James, you'll probably to some extent do the same with your daughter.
Of course.
And like, no. You don't need to understand what I went through. I don't need you. That's fucking not your world. And you should never know that world. And I think that is such an amazing thing. And I don't know where you guys are at, but I think that's a good point to fucking kind of wrap it up on. You know what I mean? Is to kind of get it to the point of understanding, hey, do you have something you want to say, James?
No, I'm
okay,
good.
because James over here gave me this fucking look.
I want to give a shout out again one more time to our boy Carlos.
Well, we're not done yet, dog.
Dewar.
Okay, let me wrap it up.
Brother, I just want to get my shit
it's
out
like,
there.
It's like the 90s AIDS commercials. Wrap it up. You know what I mean? Or was that Dave Chappelle?
Hey, bro, come on.
That was probably Dave Chappelle.
Let's not bring up viruses right now.
Well, there's a million of them going on. Anyway, though, what I wanted to say is, basically, I think we all understand. I think that's how you raise the bar, right? You raise the bar because I don't need you to understand everything I went through. My job is to shelter you from that aspect of things, show you the better things, and then you want to exceed those things and get even better from there. You know what I mean? And I want to empower you. Like I said, I think James, Anthony, I do think you will do so in the future. James's daughter is a little older now. And he really embraces what she wants to do. My father did that with me. I imagine Anthony's parents did that with him, to kind of show you, hey, fuck it, believe in you and do what you want to do. And as we said on episodes before, myself, I'll knock myself down every day, but I also believe that I can fucking do anything I want to, because that is what I was told my entire life. And so shout out to all of our parents here, especially. And no disrespect, Anthony, but especially James, your mother. Shout out to my father, as they had to do shit in a whole nother fashion, as you know, their significant other was taken away and shit. You know what I mean? And that's I think, man, that's some shit, man. It's tough as fuck to I can't even imagine. You know what I mean? Like not just you not together, but like it's a wrap right off the top. And shout out to anybody that's ever had anybody's family that's ever gone through something like that. You know what I mean? And so with that said, man, we'll wrap that section up, and let's jump into our truths, man. You know what I mean? Which one of you fine distinguished gentlemen want to jump into that first?
Shit, I had something that I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna be honest, I completely forgot it, but I do want to say a couple things. One, shout out to my boy Carlos for the Dewars.
All right,
Whiskey,
all right.
right?
No,
Let's
I'm not
just
mad at
put it-
that, Carlos.
That shit was good. Right?
Yeah, man. Hey, Carlos, dude, excellent fucking selection.
God damn.
Second, this is my truth. Is shout out to all of our parents.
Right.
My parents now, looking back at it, they were my heroes. They still are. They did so much for me. They put me at a platform to succeed, even if I tried to not succeed. I'm able to be where I'm at now and provide for my family and my kids. But overall, just thank you for everything. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for everything you did for me growing up. When I didn't appreciate it, I appreciate it now. Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna jump in here, man, and I'm gonna second what Anthony just said. And mine's a little odd, I suppose, man. But for me and my father, man, we tend to go back and forth. We're very strong-minded individuals, the both of us, and so we fucking get into it all the time. But with that said, man, there is nobody in this world I've ever respected more than my father through anything, the negatives and everything else that's gone on. I think that's why we get into so much shit. It's because I do take his opinion so strongly, and I get fucking annoyed when he tells me something. You know what I mean? But again, I don't know who I'd be without understanding his work ethic, his dedication to his family. I mean, fuck, dude. I'll be honest, man. I'm pretty shitty at being a family person, at dealing with people like that. I can absolutely be better at it. I've said that before, I think, too. But my truth is, man, my father is my hero, man. He has been my entire life, and he taught me everything, the foundation of who I am. And I think I didn't understand it for a long time, and today I look at it and I realize, you know what, man, all the shit that I've gotten and the way that I've approached things is straight up due to him. And I'll be honest about it too, man. Sometimes I think I can look at his negatives, and I think he would tell me that. Actually, as a matter of fact, one day I told him, I said, man, you realize I look at everything in life as a negative aspect. And he said, then I did my fucking job. And I thought, you son of a bitch, well done, Dad. And I do too. But, and even myself though, but also, man, I know that, I know what he was trying to accomplish with that and everything he was saying. And shout out to my dad, man. I ain't talked to him in a little bit, but fuck it. You know what I mean? That's my boy. It's my boy, Dad.
It's my boy, Blue.
Yeah. I just switched it up. But all right, man. J-Mar, I'm going to shoot it to you.
Yeah, so my truth is going to be this. I want to encourage everybody. I'm going to shift gears a little bit.
You should.
I want to encourage everybody to spend a little time doing what you love. And I know that
that's what we're doing.
At times, yeah, and it's what we're doing, and it's what feels right. Spend some time doing what you love, and that could be any fucking thing that you love doing. And a lot of times we don't put enough energy into ourselves, and you want to encourage everybody to do so. Adults, children, everybody should spend time doing that. That shit dwindles from a kid to an adult, and I think that if you can get into that mindset of doing what you love, you're gonna enjoy your day to day on a whole nother aspect. So enjoy doing what you love, and that's hobbies, that's interests, that's whatever you want to do. But make sure you spend that time for yourself, because it actually lends itself to that. I also have a second half to this truth section, and it's, we all need to practice a little gratitude for who we are. I know so many people, and I'm 31 years old now, and I know so many people.
Child.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. No. I know so many people.
Going on 35.
Yeah. Well, you're old.
Yeah.
I know so many people who can look back at their parents and their grandparents and recognize how hard they worked. I encourage you to work just as hard.
Harder.
Practice a little gratitude.
Work harder.
Work harder. You don't got the roadblocks. Practice gratitude. Work
easier.
harder.
Yeah.
And you will be amazed at what you can accomplish. So that's my 2-part truth for you guys.
All right, James, I love that. I appreciate you saying that, man. I agree with everything you said. So with that, I would like to give a little update. As we mentioned a couple weeks back, Anthony and myself have a challenge going on. We are in a weight loss challenge.
Again, some ground.
So I'd like to say, Anthony, do we want to give an update? Do we want to say where we're at?
Yeah.
Move forward from there?
Well, what was that, 5 pounds? I believe you were at, what, 12?
No, sir.
13?
No, sir.
What was
You're talking about 10, total weight?
10.
Yeah, I think it was maybe 13.
It was 13 for Ken and 5 for Anthony.
Slow burn, baby. Slow burn.
And you know what, man? We're in the neck of the fucking battle still. I don't discredit Anthony. I think once he saw that, I was like, shit, I wish I wouldn't have showed him that. Because now I imagine this motherfucker's going to go even harder right now.
How many weeks we got?
What are we now? We've got about 4 weeks. We got about 4 weeks. Yeah.
And Anthony has got a fire under him. Ken, he's going, but I don't know. Honestly, when this bet started, I didn't know what horse to bet on.
Let me say this. I was glad to be in a bet with Anthony because I know his competitive spirit, and we actually, if you heard episode 1, we actually had an issue, and one of the things I used to tell him was, I know you like competition. I know you are in competition with everyone around you all the time. And I can relate. And that is why I thought this would be beneficial, because fuck it. You know what? We'll go at it. And I don't discredit this man. And you know, he keeps throwing me these nonchalant, like, great job. And I'm like, this guy's full of shit.
But,
you know?
But if you guys know Tiger Woods, he just got to be in the tournament on Saturday.
He's got to be there.
If he's there on Saturday, there's the chance. And that's what we're betting
Sunday.
on. No, if he makes it to Saturday in contention, Sunday's the day that makes the fucking.
I feel like we're in Sunday right now.
Listen, Tiger Woods just has to be about 5
and
if
anybody was Tiger Woods, it's me. So I don't. You be Phil Mickelson or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, you don't.
You
know
be
golf.
any of those guys? Yeah, I don't, and I don't give a. And then I'm Kobe, bitch. All right. Fourth quarter Kobe, dog. Okay, we're in the fourth quarter right now, and I'm in the game.
It's not the fourth quarter yet.
Black Mamba.
It's the second quarter.
It's the second quarter, brother.
Fuck you, man. It's fourth quarter.
And you know what Tiger does in the second round? Nothing.
You know what?
He just stays.
Next week, I'm wearing my Tiger.
Watching.
Next week, Tiger Woods shirt coming out. That's it. Tune into the YouTube. I'll be wearing a Tiger Woods gear.
Yeah, he went blacked out today.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I've been losing weight and I was flexing on him. You know what I mean? I had to show off a little bit. Anthony came like he was about to work out.
I had just finished the workout.
Yeah. Here's his workout right now. Right?
I had to do a workout before I drank. So
anyway,
it's counterproductive.
I just want to say sincerely though, it's a pleasure to be in the competition with you, man. May the best man win. You know what I mean? I acknowledge that and I'm okay with that.
I told you from the beginning. I hope you do really well. Whether we win or lose
again, huh?
Whether you win or lose or I win or lose.
Just let me go.
If we can get to a certain point where we've lost weight, we've both succeeded.
We've already lost weight.
Right.
Hey, we're doing well.
I told you if I win, I'm putting 200 straight into this podcast.
Well, if I win, I'm putting 400 straight. That is the bet, and I'm gonna literally just throw the 400 on the table.
I had to tell my wife I was gonna give her 200.
No, can I say this again? I admire that. Well done, sir. You got to take care of your family, man. I no argument for me here. So with that.
And with that, go check out social media.
Fucking podcast, Instagram, YouTube, fucking Spotify, Apple Music. We on all casts here, man. Men and Means podcast, YouTube, Men and Means, Instagram.
Make sure you guys like and subscribe
and leave a comment.
Leave a
fucking comment.
And we want to know what we want to do.
Hey, better. You know what I want? I would like you guys to comment who you like better. Okay, let's make another competition here.
You know what? I want to hear you guys who you guys are riding with.
Yeah.
On this weight loss challenge.
You're riding with me.
Checking back.
Weigh in.
Let me know who you think is going to win this. Let me just tell you right now.
I'm 13 pounds.
Let me just tell you right now.
I'm 13 pounds down.
Don't call it a comeback. All right?
Yeah, we won't because I'm going to win.
I've been here for years.
Yeah, we won't because Ken's going to win. Ain't nobody worried about it. Ain't nobody got time for all that. All right. Anyway, man, thank you guys for listening. It's been a pleasure. You guys have a fucking fantastic evening, fantastic week.
One more shout out for Dewar.
Hey, shout out to Carlos again. Shout out to Carlos
15 years
again.
Aged.
Good looking out, man. Hey, what a
bottle.
I gotta say, as far as suggestions go, Carlos, you have risen to the top.
Carlos, this was a superb selection.
Splendid.
This was sensational.
Okay, sensational.
I can't use any more.
What a blast. All right, man. You know what, guys? And that brings us to the point where we go, bye.
Later.